Today, it was time to go to the monthly Clifton comic book show, and I picked up way too many comic books. Let's take a look at what I got and why. Maybe because I'm crazy. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. We're headed into the Clifton Comic Show. There is a comic show today, so we're headed in. Let's take a look at what the show is. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, like, comment, subscribe. You know how to handle that. Give us a follow on Instagram. My Instagram handle, Bronzeville_comics. It's in the description, as is my Whatnot. I do sales every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And there is a link in the description here. You get $10 off your first purchase if you've not yet used Whatnot. And it doesn't have to be with me. There's also a link to my eBay store as well as my email. And if you do see anything that interests you in the eBay store, reach out to me via email. We can do a better deal. Fee free. Okay. So, Clifton Comic Show. It is in New Jersey, Clifton, New Jersey. Every month, basically, they put on usually 3 shows a month. This is the one I go to most often because it's the one that's most geographically convenient. They also do one in Wayne, and I think it's Old Bridge. I've never been to the Old Bridge one. And then occasionally they do one at the Kubert School. There is one coming up at the end of the month. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to that one. So I walk in, see my boy Streetside Anthony. He had some really cool books that we went through. I got 2 copies of Batman 442, one of these early Tim Drake issues. I think one is gradable. It's not a huge value in a 9.8, but I figure, it'll be part of a Batman collection for me. Then 2 copies of Ghost Rider number 2. This is the first appearance of Midnight, I believe. And then I picked up a gradable copy of Lobo 1. This is a good spec book, of course. If Jason Momoa was going to play Lobo, I did get a 9.8 recently. I have a couple others in the hopper. And then I picked up a couple copies of this. The Amazing Spider-Man 328, the McFarlane Loin Punch. However you want to describe it. Newsstand. So they're both pretty high grade. I took the better one. I think I'm going to throw the better one into a good old 9.8 pre-screen. I think a 9.8 pre-screen is like a $300-400 book in a 9.8. And then we'll get a little controversial, not too much. A couple of New Mutants 98s. He had multiple copies of most of these books. X-Men Annual 14. The first appearance of Gambit. One is going in the clean and press pile, and then the other will sell. So right next to him, everybody was in a frenzy over the dollar bins. And I forget the name of the folks. They come only a couple of times a year to Clifton. And I think it was the last time they were there, or maybe it was a full year ago, that I got the Firestorm, the Superman variant. That was like a test issue. There were 2 of them. There was a Justice League and a Superman, and they're different covers than the cover A. It's like an early, oddly, an early variant. So they had some priced books and then a ton of dollar books, and I got deals on both of those. I thought this was a good deal. Astonishing Tales number 6. This is the first appearance of Bobby Morse, who becomes Mockingbird. Get that in focus. Where's my focus going? And also a great Doctor Doom cover. And then this is a nice gradable copy of Detective 585. It's the first appearance of Ratcatcher, who we saw Ratcatcher's daughter. And this is tough because it's a black spine, but there's no spine ticks on this that I can tell. I don't think so. Pretty clean. That's going to go in a clean and press pile. That will be submitted. Then I started digging in the dollar bins, and I went a little crazy. I went a lot crazy. I had to stop, put a stack on the side, get my bag to street side. Warlord 55. I've been looking for this book for a while, and this is a pretty nice copy. Not that it has a tremendous amount of value. This is the first appearance of Arion, Lord of Atlantis, and I really wanted this because I did collect the Arion run back in the day just because it was a new DC run. I'm like, yeah, throw it on my pull list. But also Arion was used in first issue of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and since I started doing that video series, which I have to continue, I wanted his first appearance, and then I also picked up 4 issues of Arion, Lord of Atlantis. Issues, I think it's 30, 32, 33, and 34. Completes the run. So that was always nice to complete a run. And then there was also the special, which I didn't have. That's from 1985. So that I was pretty happy with. Excuse me. This, a nice sharp copy of Firestorm 24, which is the first appearance of Blue Devil. That's going to go into a grading pile. And then I picked up the full mini-series, the first series of Nightwing. Now, this is the first solo Dick Grayson title. There was never a Robin title. He did have his own feature in Star Spangled Comics in the Golden Age, but he never had his own book. This is the first time he had it. Number 1, that's a sharp copy. Gonna get that graded. The others up. Another mini-series I picked up, Beauty and the Beast, 4-issue mini-series. The covers were by Bill Sienkiewicz. This is Beast and Dazzler. I did have this. I have this in my personal collection. I bought this when it came out. But also number 1, and it's a pretty high grade. I'm going to keep the set together and sell it as a set, but it is a newsstand. So that's pretty cool. Then I was just hunting around and just grabbing books. Justice League, number 5. This is the issue where Batman punches Guy Gardner in the nose. And will James Gunn use that scene at some point? Maybe. Faust, number 2, and it does have this gatefold because there's some naughty bits hidden in there. This is the second print. I'm not sure what that goes for. Not a huge book. Wolverine, this is the 109? Yeah, 189, I'm sorry. 189, the final issue of Volume 2. I don't think it's like other final issues because I don't think it was canceled due to low print run. I think they were just kind of resetting stuff. So, let me get my mouse together. Then Detective Comics 608. Nice sharp copy. And these are sharp copies in the dollar bin. These are like 9.8 contenders. That's going in the clean and press pile. Detective 599, the first appearance of Henri Ducard. That was the first appearance of Anarchy, by the way. Then I picked up a handful of flashes. Conditions vary. This was kind of lousy. There was 350, another final issue. Again, I think that's a fairly plentiful final issue. Even though people, were really bored out of their minds by the storyline of the Flash going on trial. So I picked up some books. I'll need to upgrade these at some point that I needed for the PC. This one is in pretty lousy condition. And this one I like because it does have Green Lantern and Wildcat, some Earth 2 action. This is the first Rainbow Raider. I do have that one, but that's also pretty low grade. So the conditions on these, the older ones tended to be in nicer condition, but just kind of slowly, if I can do it through dollar bins, filling in my run. A couple of more Tim Drake, George Perez cover Batman issues. These are both Newsies, so that's nice. The Year 3 story, the 441 and 437. Alpha Flight 34. This is the first appearance, not the first appearance, the origin of Dark Overlord or somebody. A nice Mike Mignola cover. Mignola? Then, this is, I think, a book that's finally getting some appreciation by the fan base that it should appeal to. People are wanting this more, and I have to believe this is one of the harder ones to find. Quasar number 14. Todd McFarlane cover. High-grade copy. Going to throw that in the press pile. Then a nice Neil Adams, Jimmy Olsen. Dollar book, sure. Quantum Leap number 1, based on the TV series from the 90s with Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell. And I had number 1, but I didn't have numbers 3 and 4. Complete the run. This is a book. This is a pretty high-grade copy. I'm searching for this. Definitely want this at a 9.8. It's Green Arrow number 1, his first solo book. It's a 4-issue miniseries. Then a nice 1971 Superman book. Pretty decent copy. There were some Fantastic Fours. This one. Just I like this cover. And then some 25 and 30 centers. Excuse me, I'm just trying to sort piles on the floor. Nothing incredible here. No big keys, but just figure, you know, listen, Bronze Age FF for $1 each. Why not? So that's the FFs. New Teen Titans number 16. Another one with these inserts. First appearance of Captain Carrot. This is a nice high-grade copy of Legends number 1, the first Amanda Waller. That's going off to the potentially get graded. Venom Funeral Pyre number 1. Excalibur Special Edition number 1. This is the first appearance of Excalibur. It predates their own series number 1. This mid-grader Dragon Slayer number 1. Movie adaptation. Action Comics. I've been picking this up whenever I see it, and I've been paying more than $1 for it. $5.98. This is the first appearance of Checkmate. With the Waller series, quite possible Checkmate will be introduced. Then a nice 25-cent reprint, Marvel Superheroes. Number 24. Somehow, though, Daredevil got a goatee. So that is a little bit lower grade, but $1. What else do we got? Then, there we go. Kamiko book. This is Kamiko, right? Yeah. Elementals number 3 by Bill Willingham. Really cool series. I'm trying to finish this series off. I needed number 3. This is a little bit lower grade than I wanted. First issue special with Metamorpho. I didn't realize when I was grabbing stuff from the dollar bin it was missing that chunk, because it looked nice otherwise. Another full mini-series, the Cloak and Dagger mini-series, and issues 3 and 4 are newsstands, so I got all 4 issues there. I'm going to keep those together. Ambush Bug number 1. I'm going to throw that in the spec pile. Jack of Hearts number 1, his first mini-series. Throw that in the spec pile. There was thoughts he was going to be in the She-Hulk series, but that did not come to fruition. Infinity War number 1. Nice wraparound Ron Lim cover. Omega Men number 5. This is the second appearance of Lobo. A little bit underappreciated right now. Throw that in the spec pile. Black Canary number 1. Another instance, her first solo series. And here we have another mini-series, and I think this might be the end of the dollar bins. Yeah. These are pretty high grades. These are like 9.2, 9.4-ish, maybe better. Batman the Cult. All 4 issues of that. So I was, for $1, like grabbing some miniseries. Okay, so that was the, I think that was the $1. Was this? No, there was more. There was more, I'm sorry. Batman 489, second appearance of Bane. Batman 475, first appearance of Renee Montoya, who becomes the Question. And then I picked up some just random Wonder Woman issues that I needed. I like the ones with the Huntress. And I also picked up a Supergirl. Supergirl 5. This lists on Key Collector, you know, for key significance. There is a Zatanna backup story. It says Origins Zatanna. It's basically a reprinting of Hawkman 4. So, but still, you know, Supergirl has become pretty popular. Then I went over and Panther Comics had dollar bins, so I was just kind of rifling through those. I wanted to get a nice even number. I want to get 10 books, so I think it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I got a couple of issues of iVampire because I don't think I got the series when it came out. This Howard Chaykin issue, one of the Blackhawk miniseries that he did. Then I got some Westerns. And I will be doing, on Whatnot, a Western night. And I have to check my my calendar in September. I have like, I think over 150 Western books right now set up for that show or set aside for that show. And Monday, it's going to be on September 16th. September 16th is going to be Western night. So I'm just picking up, some nice Bronze Age Western books. That goes in a separate pile because it goes with Westerns. The first issue of From Hell. This is an Alan Moore miniseries. It was adapted into a film with Keanu Reeves and... was it Winona Ryder? Who was the female co-star in From Hell? From Hell. Oh, no, it was... No, I'm totally wrong. It was Johnny Depp and Heather Graham. Okay. And I think that's one of the ones. This is from 2001. I've never seen that. I will be watching it soon. It's on my 2001 movie list. It's a whole other story. Then I just picked up some decent condition old Archies, which, throw those in an Archie box. $1 each. Figure, 15 centers. And then I need one more, and I just grabbed this Steve Rude cover of X-Men Children of the Atom #1. I just wanted to get to $10. Then there were the usual folks set up. There's one guy that has, he's often there with $3 books. He does like 7 books for $20, so you save $1. Kid Colt Outlaw. This is 12 center from then 127. That's an oldie. Transformers #3. This does have some significance. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Justice League of America 76. This is not a bad copy. I got it like at a 6.5. I have to see if that's a PC upgrade. Adventure Comics 345. Looks pretty decent. Does have some spine damage. I always like this story. This is the second of 2 parts of the Super Stalag of Space, where these aliens, these red-headed or red-faced aliens, capture superheroes from throughout the cosmos, and including Legion. And this is the one where Matter Eater Lad gets thick. Superman 205, Neil Adams cover. I think that's Neil Adams. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Adams. Another Adventure Comics, Ghost of Fira Lad. Some stuff for Western Night. I picked up what I thought, if they look good, a couple Lone Rangers. A Roy Rogers. This Roy Rogers, I think, from 52, 51. And a Flying A's Range Riders. All Golden Age books. Amazing Spider-Man 400, Death of Aunt May. This is a newsstand copy. Harder to come by. Batman Family #1. And then 3 non-key issues, 25-cent Captain Americas. So, all pretty cool stuff. And then there was a guy who had like books, $5, 5 for $20. I picked up this copy of Ghost Stories, so that'll go into some horror. Put that aside. This Negative Space Frank Miller cover. He had a lot of the Frank Miller. I don't know why I picked up this one. It probably wasn't in the condition it should have been for me to grab, but whatever. And then these 2 I thought were pretty good pickups. Plastic Man 3 and 4 from 1967. Some checkerboards action. And then 12-cent Superboy that was in pretty decent condition, #122. So, Steve from Elite Comic Sales. He hails me and he says, Jim. He's holding up. Let me get the whole stack. It's a big stack. Holding up a stack of comics. Right? Now, when I was at the Garden State Comic Fest, I picked up a bunch of Super Friends from him. And when they were cheap, like $3 a piece, and he gave me a deal. Took a little bit off. And when I got them home, I noted on the video that they were in really nice condition. So he had more from the same collection. This is going to put me really close to completing the run, and a lot of them in high grade, which is great for books still from the late 70s, early 80s. One of the things I do like about, or a couple things I like about, I never collected the Super Friends as a kid because I'm like, that's silly. I'm too old for that, because by this time I was like 11 or 12, and I was so cool. Too cool for school. I can't watch Batman 66 anymore. That's kids stuff, right? We rediscover it. I do like the some of the characters they bring in, and then some of the backups are like the international heroes, like Seraph. I don't think they've really used him because they have a lot of, I don't know who half these villains are. They're just it'd be fun to read Plastic Man. Yeah, DC and TV's Sultan of Stretch. Plastic Man, remember, had a cartoon in the early 80s. Jack-O-Lantern is a backup on these books. You have the Global Guardians with like some Green Lantern villains like Sinestro and Hector Hammond. You also have Queen Bee, I think that is. And then you have the international superheroes, including Little Mermaid from Denmark. Rising Sun from Japan. But some of those heroes really came over pretty strongly into main continuity, and that includes Green Fury, who becomes Fire, like a Fire and Ice was in the Justice League in the 80s, in that Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, Kevin Maguire run. That was the Bwahaha League with, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, Guy Gardner. So these are all PC. And then I picked up a few more books from Steve. I got these off the wall, and these are both really, really sharp. I think these are both contenders, and this is a tough book in a 9.8 because of the black cover. I'm going to maybe submit both of these. This book is very expensive in a 9.8. Question number 1. Now, let me just take a quick look-see. Just, to GP analysis. And question. And I looked at this earlier today. Actually, I looked at it when I was looking at the books with Steve. Yeah, it's about $150 book in a 9.8. Yeah, but this year it's gone as high as $225. 3 sales this year: $150, $190, $225. Right, so it doesn't sell a lot, but it sells for well over $100. And here's my theory also. I've heard rumors, some of the leaks and what have you, that they're going to be, the question is going to become part of James Gunn's DCU. And if that does, it's not his first appearance, but his first DC solo title. I think that book will increase in value, at least for the short term. And then I picked up this. This is a book I've been picking up a lot lately. I think it's often undervalued. This is one of those Lois Lane Goes to Hell books. Neil Adams cover. That's pretty cool. And then I also picked this up, and I think it was quite, of its time right now. And that's Truth number 1. The first appearance of Isaiah Bradley. We saw Carl Lumbly played him in Falcon and Winter Soldier. And we saw Carl Lumbly portraying him in the trailer. And we know he's in the cast for Captain America, Brave New World. And when I saw the trailer, I was excited to see him in action. I would love to see like a mini-series or even a special of Isaiah Bradley, like fighting Winter Soldier in the Korean War or something. I think that would be awesome. So I thought that was a very timely book to pick up. So then I swept back, and on my way out, I was talking to Street Side, and he had a book on the wall he's talking about, and I'm like, I needed 2 books from this series to complete the run. I've gotten very close recently. It's the third to last issue and the last issue. And for this imprint, these later issues are hard to come by. And Anthony gave me a great deal. Hardware number 50. I just need 48 now. the final issue of the series from Milestone. So that is going into the PC. And I don't know how many comic books did I buy today? The answer, of course, is too many. But if I look at, I bought 141 comic books. It's like more than a short box full. That's a lot of comic books. So I have a big pile of stuff to sell. I have an impressive pile. I'll show you. These are the books that I think are worthy of a 9.8 pre-screener. Some of them, the first Gambit, probably just submit that without a pre-screen. But this is kind of like what I like to do when I go to shows. Now, let's say there's how many books here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let's say I hit half of them, 7, right? And there's like $100 profit. That's $700. That's more than I spent on everything. And, you know, that's a $100 profit after I figure in CGC fees and what I paid for the books. And some of these books I paid $1 for. And that also is kind of fun to get that kind of win. And like, oh yeah, I spent $1 and I got this 9.8. That's worth $160 or something. So that's kind of the fun of the hunt for me. Let me know what you think about the books I picked up. I know when I submit books to CGC, every once in a while people have snarky comments about sometimes the books I submit, right? Because these are books and you have to understand how often they sell, what the value is raw, what the value is graded, if it's worth getting graded. But if somebody's like I had done the last video I did where the books I submitted to CGC, I had a comment, why so much trash? Maybe a handful of those books don't have 3-digit value in a 9.8, but those are books that I probably want for my PC. That's why we do the 9.8 pre-screen. If I got those books in a 9.2, 9.4, yeah, that's a trash slab. But 9.8 still has value. So anyway, that's it for this video. I'd like to thank you all for stopping by. If you want to, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.